So, welcome everyone to a Healy introduction call. I'm excited to bring you this call on the dying moments of our Black Friday special. For anyone who's been hearing about this special that's here, we'll touch on that at the end. And for those that are just curious to hear a little bit more about Healy, then I hope you find it informative and maybe even a little entertaining. So let me just share my screen and there we go. So yeah, we're going to be talking about the Healy today, and this little device that you can see on the screen and that I've got around my neck is an amazing evolution in technology that I've been interested in for a while, which is vibrational tech. And I know within me that we are all vibration and that we can affect our own personal vibration with devices or with environments. So going down to the beach, being in the forest, getting the fresh air and things like that. But there are also mechanical devices like the Healy, or the Chi organizer is another device that I was involved in earlier. And there are many, many, many versions of this. And if you go back in history, they knew about this. But before we go any further, I just want to really clearly specify that Healy is not a medical product. It is not intended to cure, treat, mitigate, diagnose, or prevent any disease. So it is really just a holistic product that is designed to help bring your bioenergetic field back to homeostasis to allow your body to work at an optimum state. So who am I? This is me. I've been using Healy since about 2019. The 3rd of March, actually, 2019. And like I mentioned, I've been really enthusiastic about tech and frequencies since pretty much since I can remember, listening to music when I could only just walk. Vibration and music and harmonics and things like that were really, integral into my being. I am a senior director in Healy World, which is the business group that we will touch on a little bit as well. And outside of Healy, I also really enjoy the harmonics and vibration of human relationships and human development. And I really believe that our whole world and our being is very much dependent on our harmonic and our vibration, and our development is based on how we vibrate in the world. And I do this work under alchemy of love. So that's a little bit of a background on who I am. Excuse me. Now, one of my favorite people on the planet is Nikola Tesla. Not that he's here still, but his input is still in the world. And one of the quotes that he stated is that if you want to find the secrets of the universe, then think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And, that rings so true to me. And this is my favorite beach, Waterman's Bay. And this is where I go to really tune into my own energy and the frequency of the waves and the vibration of everything it's in this space. It really warms my heart. Now, this is also me standing on top of Mount Agung in Bali. And it's one of those moments where it's just like an aha moment, right? And standing at the top of Agung above the clouds, um, really for me was a moment where I felt like I was tapping into more than just myself. And this quote from Nikola Tesla kind of rings true with that, where the day science begins to study the non-physical phenomenon, it will make more progress in 1 decade than in all the centuries of existence. So the really fundamental point of this quote is the decade that Nikola Tesla was talking about is the decade that we're in right now. We are with so many different things. If we think of breath work and sound healing and all of these other modalities that people are leaning into, and not only to mention science, when we're getting into now the quantum mechanics and quantum physics, it's really delving into these non-physical elements. So where did Healy come from? Now, Healy came from these two people. We've got Marcus Schmecker and Christian Halper. These two guys met at a astrological business conference, and they hit it off. But to go individually into who they are, Marcus is an absolute genius. Really, from a very young age, had completed a university degree in quantum mechanics. From there, really went deeper into understanding the personal input into that equation of quantum mechanics, which is the observer. What does the observer bring into the equation? And he delved deeper into that by going into India and studying the Buddhist philosophies and really learning to still the mind, but also to understand that input. And then from there, it really, merged the worlds of physics and philosophy together. He has written a number of books. He lectures at congresses around the world of integrative science and medicine. And really, his aim is to make this kind of tech available to the world. And Christian Helper is the person that's helping him to do that. So Christian Helper is really the money behind Healy. He initially invested $100 million into the birthing of Healy. He got his money from a hedge fund company called Superfund. He sold that and invested early into crypto, turned his millions into billions of euros, and now really is just on a pathway of how can he invest in sustainable technologies, vegan and vegetarian nutritional concepts. And he's now built a chain of vegan restaurants and has restaurants with Michelin stars. So it's really about quality that Christian is very, very strong in. And to give you an idea of where Healy started, it was only founded in 2019. So it's only 3 years old, or a little bit over 3 years old. And Healy now is in over 45 countries and is consistently growing throughout the world, and also in its adoption in those countries. So, um, but some of the history is Healy is backed off this device here that you see. This is a time waiver device. This is a product that Marcus invented when he was, well, in 2007. This is a practitioner's version of the Healy. This requires a computer and these apparatus. It requires quite a bit of in-depth study to understand what the frequencies are doing and how to apply those. And he really wanted to make it more accessible. But the reason that I put this slide in is just to let you know that this tech isn't just something new that's popped up as a trend. This tech with Marcus Schmecker goes right back to 2007, and this is, one of the industry standard devices for the frequency specific microcurrents. And this is a couple of his books as well, Following the Inner Path, which is a journey towards enlightenment, and then the second path, which is really understanding the information field, which I'll touch on in a moment. But first, the company itself, Healy Vision, and our vision is to empower people to live a healthy, fulfilled, and conscious life, to inspire our growing global community and make a continuous positive impact on humanity. Now, if you've been involved in creating vision statements before, the way that it works is you put the most important things at the start of your vision statement. And if you look at this, our vision is to empower people to live a healthy, fulfilled, and conscious life. It shows you that the vision of Healy is actually to put the people first and help humanity to shift. So how does it do that? And it does that by creating revolutionary products and opportunities to empower the members to thrive and live a life of freedom, passion, and joy, which are three of my core values. So when I started hearing about this, there's all of these alignments that are happening within me and then Healy itself. So they've got the tag slogan of "We deliver frequencies for your life," and there really are frequencies for just about everything that you're experiencing in your world. And one thing I really want to talk about is the community that is so strong with Healy. It's incredible the caliber of people that I'm working with Healy and that are really, you know, hearing the call of this kind of tech, almost hearing that there was going to be something like this coming out into the world. And some people that I've spoken to have even, dreamed of the name and seen the product almost, and then were introduced to it just because they knew that this was coming out. And I think it's important to know that Healy was approached by Amazon, and Amazon wanted to buy Healy. But Healy said, look, that's not the business model we're looking for. We want to not only change the frequency of people through the devices, but also to shift their paradigm as far as where they sit in their wealth culture as well, and helping people to step into a whole new level of abundance through the model, inspiring others to try out these frequencies. So, how does it work? The body is composed of several different layers, right? It starts with organs and tissues, this physical body that we can see and feel. And then from there, if we break that down, we get into cells. The cells themselves are then made up of molecules. If we break those molecules down, then we get atoms, and we break down the atoms, we get to subatomic particles. But when we start breaking down subatomic particles, we're moving to a whole new level of understanding of physics where it's really just energy, frequency, and vibration, which is then the information field as referred to by Marcus. Now, what is the benefit of using the individualized microcurrent frequencies, the IMF that the Healy uses? And this is when you're using this device with either the cords going to ear clips or to wristbands or localized pads if you were wanting to work on a specific area in the body. And what it does is it helps to activate the cell membrane potential. Now, the cell membrane potential is this is a cell here, and you can see that there is a positive charge on the outside and a negative charge on the inside. And that difference between the voltage on the outside and the inside, as you can see, is the cell membrane potential. Now, when the cell membrane potential is, from -60 to -90 millivolts, then we get young, healthy, vibrant, well active cells, right? But as that voltage drops, then all of a sudden the cells start to age and pain starts to show up. As that voltage drops even further, then we get into inflammation, and then ultimately we get uncontrolled cell division, and the cell dies. Now, this is research that was done way back in 1985, right? So this isn't, again, new tech, but there are just new ways that we can apply it. We don't need to have computers and cables and manuals and things like that. Literally, all we need is a iPhone or a kind of smartphone and a Healy device. These are the two things that we need, and that's it. So it's very beautiful and easy. And people are looking for a way to get some vibrational cellular. This is cellular support. And if we're talking about cellular health, this is how it works. And when the cell membrane potential increases, so we get a cell membrane potential of around -90 millivolts, then what that does is that also increases the cell membrane potential of the mitochondria. And when the mitochondria has a higher cell membrane potential, then it's also working at a higher capacity. And the input of that and the effect of that is that it increases amino acid transport up to 40%. And amino acids are the building blocks for protein synthesis. From there, we get increased protein synthesis of up to 70%. And protein synthesis is the process where proteins are formed to build the actual cells themselves. And they've actually measured that the increased ATP production from individualized microcurrent frequencies can be up to 500%. So that's implying that, your battery is going to be fully charged. So if you're wanting to respond, your body has that reserve. It has the capacity to react, to respond, to really support the body in whatever way is required. And that is when we're looking at this picture on the bottom right-hand side, you can see the cables going to either, a sticky pad like that, or the wristbands or the ear clips. And this is really where we're talking about working with the physical cells. But then beyond that, we've also got our bioenergetic field. And the bioenergetic field is more around the flow of energy in the body. So some people speak to this about chi or prana, but in the scientific terms, it's more about the information flow or the information field at that quantum level. And Healy covers both of these. It's not just isolated to one. And it uses them in this analysis delivery feedback. So it will provide you with a specific frequency. So right now I'm running a program and it is doing zero point 0.1 hertz. And that's now just shifted to 38.3 kilohertz. So it was giving me the zero point 0.5 hertz, delivering those frequencies. Then inside the Healy is something called a quantum sensor. It will then see how my body's responding to that zero point 0.5 hertz, and then from that, it'll do an analysis and go, okay, now because you responded like that with the zero point 0.5, what I'm going to do is I'm going to deliver you 38.5 kilohertz. And then from there, it will go to another frequency. And that will happen every 10 to 30 seconds, depending on the program that you're running for the full duration of that program. So, for example, I'm running a program called Activation right now. This is a 55-minute program. The first 10 minutes or so, it's kind of assessing where I'm at. It's almost like you go to a physio and the first couple of minutes is like, all right, let's just see what's going on with the body. Once it's made that analysis, then for the next 40 minutes or so, it's just running good frequencies. And then in the last part of the actual program, it's kind of just grounding all of that in and bringing it into a place of transitioning out of the frequency program. So it's a very holistic approach that the healer uses per session. Now, the time waver product that I spoke to earlier was being used by this man, Nuno Nina, and he had a number of different clinics around the world and was regarded as, one of the leaders in vibrational therapies. He really wanted to shift the application of the frequencies from a practitioner's version to an at-home self applying the frequencies. So he called up Marcus and said, look, let's get together. I've got an idea. We need to get this out to the people as opposed to people needing to come into all of the practices. They got together. Nuno Nina created this group of 144,000 frequencies that go into 7 different programs, which are now known as the gold cycle frequencies. And these are the outlines of those. So you've got Pure, which is really designed to recover from negative environmental influences like toxins or an unhealthy diet. It's really like a detox program. Then you've got Care, which supports the immune system, but it also helps to just bring the body back to this place of just feel like I'm being held, that I'm being cared for. Balance is aligning the different organs and really working on that physical balance in my physical body. Being is an emotional balance, but for me it feels like I'm connecting like to my higher self, that energy. I'm really coming in vibrational harmonics with my higher self, with my higher vibrations. Then I've got the energy program in there and the relax program, depending on where you are energetically in that. And then the last one in this group is the release program. Now, this is designed for pain, which is physical, emotional, mental pain. All of those can be used through the release program. So it's really powerful. And so in these 7 different frequency or programs, there are 144,000 different frequencies. So you can see the capacity that is available, how it's very personalized depending on what your body's needing and the analysis that comes up. Which of those 144,000 frequencies are going to be used in these 7 programs? But the Healy is now using over 10 million frequencies. And this is our Holistic Health Advisory Board. There's a couple of other people, there's quite a few that are involved in this advisory board, and they're all specialists in their own right in vibrational therapy. So constantly there is an evolution in the research and development and the technology and the application of the frequencies that are being used inside the Healy for our benefit, right? So this is real solid science that is being developed for our benefit. It's really quite an amazing product. And this just is some logos and highlighting that this is science based. There is real people that have real knowledge around science and medicine that are working with these frequencies and helping us to run them through the Healy. The Healy itself is designed and made in Germany, so we're getting that kind of quality build. And Healy also has a large range of patents now, and also some patents pending for the different frequencies and how they're distributed to the body. So here's a quick overview. You can see that there's 144,000 frequencies in those gold frequencies. Healy's now using 10.1 million different frequencies across the range of programs that are available. It uses that quantum sensor inside the Healy to allow it to do the analysis, to create a personalized frequency application every single time you use it. It's a unique version. And then we've got the application based, meaning that it's just available on your phone, your smartphone. So you don't need to have a computer. You don't need to have like books and manuals and all of these things. Everything's just available through the ease of a mobile phone. So here's a point where we get to real people and real results. So what I might do is just stop sharing for a moment. And I'd actually like to ask a couple of people to come on and share if they'd like to. Um, Ben, do you want to just share a quick story about how Healy has been introduced into your world and the effects that it's had for you?
Yep, I'm happy to do that.
That'd be great.
So I started using the Healy device, I think it was March or April. Thanks to Jason, I loaned a device to start with, and immediately within the first day to 2 days, I started to see results. Went on a bit of a journey of experimenting with all kinds of programs throughout the device. Then started to concentrate on my vision and also circulation, and had a really big breakthrough about 2, maybe nearly 3 weeks ago, where I woke up one morning and my left eye was covered by a pillow, but my right eye, which is the eye that I don't actually recognize or see a great deal out of, I read the clock on the bedside table, and it kind of freaked me out a little bit initially. When I got up, I had to learn to rebalance myself because being used to just using the one eye, it really threw the balance off a little bit. But the results that I'm seeing from using the combination of programs that I'm using, I'm really impressed with the Healy so far. And people have noticed that the eye is more stable, and I'm not squinting as much. So I'm really thankful that I came across the Healy, and also it's also helping with weight. So I'm ecstatic. I'm very impressed with it.
Beautiful, mate. Thank you so much for sharing. It's just watching you speak now as well. Like I remember when I first met you, and just your right eye would just like twitch and twitch and twitch, and now it might like lean away a little bit. That it's so much more focused and connected to you, it seems like. So it's beautiful to watch little things like that that are super obvious as an observer.
Yeah, I mean I was born with a vision impairment. I had a very traumatic birth. The optic nerves were damaged, but I also before that I was born with a lazy eye. So the right eye has had a couple of operations when I was a kid, and I haven't had anything since I was like 3 or 4 years old. So yeah, the Healy is definitely helping running nerves, running circulation, running the eyesight, um, and even see the improvement in the quality of the vision, like the clarity. I had a burn on my left eye. I'm not sure how it happened, but I had like marks on my left eye for roughly 6 to 8 months, and that's gone. The pattern that was there has disappeared since I
Wow,
started in the Healy.
that's amazing.
So very
Yeah,
happy.
great. Wonderful. Thanks for sharing, mate. I appreciate that.
Cool.
And Mr. Mark Bentley, do you want to share a little story or two about how Healy has been working for you?
It would be a pleasure, my friend. It's I mean, it could spend hours on end, I think, between the two of us sharing stories of how it's supported and helped. But it's yeah, two of the main things I'd love to share, and I'll compress them in. I mean, one of the first, which is the most touching, is how I've witnessed it with anxiety. And I would say that I would never have said that I had anxiety, but nowadays I can see it as, high functioning anxiety. It's what we call it when, you're able to function like normal and you don't think there's anything going on, but in the background there's this intense anxiety kind of making the brain work real hard. And so for myself, the mental balance acute was really supportive. And I even use it today with all this promo stuff going on and everything, just to feel. And it's just how it just calms everything and the mind comes clear. And all of a sudden, I guess the best way I can explain it is it feels like time slows down, because when mind is going so fast, it feels like time's going so fast that I can't keep up with it almost. And so put the ear clips on, 20 minutes of the mental balance, and it feels like everything slows right down and I'm back in the now. And I've seen that with my brother as well. He has intense anxiety, which I've never seen anything help. And this was taking a panic attack and it grounded him so he could be the dad he needed to be when we got home. So, I mean, you could do a million different ones on that one, but that's one of the ones I think anyone in the world can benefit from right now. And the other one is my sciatica. Had a bit of a wrestling incident, which threw out my back and caused some pretty brutal sciatica pain, where it got to the point where I was going to the chiropractor, and, I started feeling like an 80-year-old man that's, with the back blown out, and, walking was challenging, getting out of bed was challenging. And I thought, I'm only 41. Don't tell me it's just starting now. And then, started working with the Healy, and actually got a time waiver program that can be sent through the Therapist Access Network to my Healy. So I had a sciatica program that I used, and within one session, I started feeling the relief in the pain. And then I used it daily, and within 5 days, my movement was like back to 90%. And then so it worked wonders where the chiro just wasn't working where it normally would, and other things. So I can tell you that there was a point there where I was starting to get nervous that I wasn't going to be walking straight again properly. Yeah.
Well, thank God that's not the truth, right?
Well, Jason, you know the effects. Once I started working it, you and I, a
Yeah,
few weeks later, were on the dance floor rocking it out. Actually, Vijana was there as well, dancing with us. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. The range of different programs, like I've definitely had a lot of benefit from that mental balance programs as well. And again, whether bringing kind of calm or actually bringing that place of being responsive and the mind being activated to really be dynamic in the moment. There's mental programs like that, and then there's the, you know, the physical ones where you can actually then ease the body's physical pain as well. And I know that I've also had it with emotional stuff where, like, feeling emotionally overwhelmed and then running feel good systematic, and everything just starts to feel warmer, feel safer, everything just, you know, and the care program is like that as well. So this is the beauty, like there really are frequencies for so many different things. So beautiful. Thank you very much for sharing. I'll jump back into the presentation now and introduce a new product that's also just been introduced, which is the Mag Healy. So this is a version of the Healy device that works kind of symbiotically with the Healy, that is now a pulsed magnetic wave frequencies. And so this is really designed to work as an environmental unit. Um, when you've got the Healy really focuses on the personal bioenergetic field, and the Mag Healy addresses more the space in that. So kind of creating an environment, and it has a range of about 3 meters in diameter. So you can put this in an office space, or like one of the programs that I love that's on there is called Children Playing, and it's designed to bring harmony into that interaction with kids where there is like some disharmony. And a friend of mine has got one of these, and she's experienced that, where these kids were playing and they were kind of like just at each other trying to get their balance. And then she ran the Healy in this children playing program, and she said within 15-20 minutes the whole energy of the interaction of the children had changed. So, you know, things like that too. There are water programs, there's environmental programs, there are personal programs, and then there's the generic kind of Healy programs. So this is where you get like the Mag Healy Classic. So it's kind of like the classic Healy programs, about 24 of those, various programs for sleep or body tissues or mental issues. And you know, we can use those frequencies for a broader space. But then there's 24 different programs specifically for structuring our water. And we're more and more becoming aware with Dr. Emoto and people like that on the effects of structured water. And, you know, one of the things, if you're going into fasting, there's actually 3 different programs for fasting. One frequency for fasting and structuring the water for in the morning, one for structuring the water in the afternoon, and another one for structuring the water in the evening, because the body's doing different things and needs different structure in that water. This is the kind of depth that it's going to. It's quite insane. And then there's the atmosphere program, which is like at the office or your car or your pantry. And the this is just the beginning. You know, I kind of talk about this as we're at the iPhone 1, maybe iPhone 2 now with this. And, you know, we're still a long way from the iPhone 13, where, you know, we're using a whole new range of frequencies that can support us and different ways to use those frequencies. But it's starting, right? We're starting to interact with this technology and get the benefits from it. And the last group of frequencies that's in the Mag Healy are specifically designed by this lady called Carolyn McMakin, and she is probably one of the most renowned frequency specific microcurrent practitioners in the world. She is the author of a book called The Resonance Effect. She has probably the most famous story of how effective this can be with frequency therapy. When there was an American footballer who was playing for the Philadelphia Eagles, and 6 weeks before the Super Bowl, he had a career-ending ankle injury. And from within an hour of surgery, she was with him applying different frequencies. And not only within 6 weeks was his ankle repaired to the point where he could get onto the field, he actually ran, I think it was 146 yards, and I think he even got MVP for the game. So this is, a career-ending injury that within 6 weeks through frequency therapy has brought this man back onto the field. And Carolyn McMakin has her own specific frequencies, and she's teamed up exclusively now with Healy to bring those frequencies into the Mag Healy. So it's a real testament to the quality of Healy, and very excited to have Carolyn in that team on the medical advisory board. But I also just want to quickly speak to the opportunity that's here, because Healy is designed as a business opportunity for those that are looking for alternative streams of income, and they're also looking to support humanity. And that's, a big thing for me. A lot of the work that I want to be doing in the world is service work. I want to help to shift the frequency and the harmonics, whether that's how we relate to each other or how our body is personally vibrating. This is like part of who I am and why I'm here. But Healy itself is creating a whole new category. There is and never was a product that was like the Healy. It's so unique, but it's so on trend with the holistic health movement that's going on out in the world. People are really stepping into how we can affect our own vibration, like I said earlier, through sound therapies, and breath work, and all of that's really got to do with our inner vibration, right? And this kind of tech is really disrupting several different markets. If you just listen to some of the testimonials that we touched on before, you can get an idea of the different markets that this is going to disrupt in the world. And like I said, we are just at the beginning. Like, there is still a huge amount of research and development that is leaning forward into the creation of the new versions of Healy and the new ways that we can use it to support our bioenergetic body. And it's founded by two conscious visionaries, which is so important. Like, if for me, who's been involved in a number of different startups, it's important to know what's the anchor, like where is the core of this, who's holding that vibration, and where does it all grow from? And these two guys, I feel, are very authentic and just very honorable and quite humble in what they're wanting to do in the world and the abilities that they have to be able to do that. Here's a quick overview. I won't go into it too deep, but it just kind of shows the different growth potentials that are happening in this holistic health industry. And if you look at nutritional supplements, from 2018 to 2025, it's projected that there'll be about a 7.8% per year growth. Right? When you're getting into the health and fitness wearables and, the Fitbits and things like that, moving from 2018 to 2026, a projected growth of about nearly 25% per year. But I mean, these are billion-dollar industries. In 2018, $24 billion was spent in the US alone on health and fitness wearables. This microcurrent and home frequency applications, that's not even a $10 million industry in the US yet. And that's over the last 20 years. So this is something that is just expanding more and more and more. And we are at the precipice of the growth of this. It's very, very exciting as a business opportunity, as well as a personal support mechanism. It's very exciting. Well over 20 million different applications have been run. There's well over 2,500 professional users of this technology now, over 50 countries. Canada is now open. Mexico is about to open. Korea just opened. So, there's a lot of growth going on, expansion in the world. And as you can see, the gray that's here, there's still a lot of expansion to go. So we are very early. And I just, like I mentioned, want to quickly touch on a couple of the specials that are happening this sale, the Black Friday. If you purchase a Healy or a Mag Healy device valued at $4,964, you will also get a Resonance Plus edition for free. So you'll get the environmental unit for in your home, and that beautifully affects your whole family and the whole space that you're in without needing anyone else to wear a device or to strap on cables, but you can still affect all of the vibrations and dynamics in that space. And then you also get the personal device for more targeted individual applications if you wanted to. So that, if you're brand new and looking at getting this, this is available for the next 12 hours from now, let's say midnight in Australia. But you know, that's, there's not much time left. So if you're here, then good luck. If you're watching the replay, then you may have already missed out on this one. But there will always be something. But Black Friday is Black Friday. What can we say? If you are looking at getting a device, then all of the devices right now are 45% off, other than the most basic version, which is the Healy Gold. So going from the Healy Holistic to the Resonance, Resonance Plus, and Professional. If you want to get an idea of all of the different programs that are available, then just the best thing to do is reach out to the person that invited you to this call, and then have a discussion with them about which is the right one for you. However, if you go for one of the top devices, the Resonance Plus or a Professional, again, just until this has been extended till the end of today, if you get one of the top two models, as a bonus, you will also receive a Healy Gold as a basic toolkit that you can then either use for other people in your family or share out with friends and family that, you know, could use some support, that might actually get benefit from borrowing one of these devices. And lastly, if you are already a Healy member and you introduce 3 people to Healy, and they purchase a Healy Resonance, a Resonance Plus, or one of the Professional devices, then you, as a recognition, will also receive for free a Mag Healy. So I just want to really press upon you the idea that the support, compensation, reward in the business with Healy is really quite significant. And I actually am a big fan of the business model, so much to the point that I was first introduced to this business model with Amway. I had zero alignment with the product, but I had a really strong understanding of the business model and the potential of me supporting the people that I love. And I love the idea, having Mark Bentley as my direct sponsor, that when I'm sharing Healys into the world, and when I'm purchasing something for myself, that Mark Bentley is getting paid a small commission for all of that that's happening. And I would so much rather that Mark Bentley gets money into his account than Jeff Bezos gets money into his account. Like, that is a no-brainer for me, and that's what I love about this business model. There is also compensation, or sorry, payment plans that are available if you choose to. Everything other than the Professional can go onto either a 3-month or a 6-month plan. This is the basics of it. So you're starting at $150 deposit, and then $90 a fortnight for 7 payments, up to just over $400 as a deposit, and then 13 fortnightly plans of $133. So it really makes it affordable. When we first started with this a couple of years ago, none of these things were available. So it was, and it was all in or nothing. And, I know that Mark Bentley and I had such a belief in this product that we actually borrowed money to be able to purchase these things, because we understood not only the potential of the product, but they understood the potential of the business that is evolving as we go. And lastly, here is a little outline of the different models. So you can see that the gold comes with the gold cycle frequencies. It comes with bioenergetic support, which are frequencies that came out around 2020, when there were other things going out into our world and frequencies to support that. Program 1 is one that's specifically designed for if there is physical discomfort in the body. The expert program page is what Mark was talking about with the therapeutic programs that can be applied and specific for you. And then there's the Heal Advisor Search program. And the beautiful thing with the Heal Advisor Search is you can literally pull up a database and, type in diabetes, and it will then say a range of different frequencies or programs that you can use that will help to support your bioenergetic body should you be suffering from a condition like that. And we I, as someone who was not medically trained, I do not have the authority or ability to give medical advice, but the Heal Advisor Search module can help to support giving the answers for the questions that I have and that others around me have. Then the Healy Holistic is a great one to go for if you're just looking to get started, because it's only maybe another $80 more, and you're getting all of the bioenergetic harmony programs, the mental balance programs, the meridian programs. So there's an extra almost 80 programs in those there that range everything from, you know, immune system to prostate to intestines to 20 different meridian programs to the mental balance ones that Mark was talking about. Then from there we go into the resonance and a whole new application of scanning our bioenergetic field and being able to vibrate the frequencies to our information field. And so that becomes available with the Healy Resonance, along with the Power of Three, which is a Ayurvedic-based program. And you've got the sleep programs, a whole range of local stimulation programs, fitness, chakras. From there, we go to the Resonance Plus, which also now brings in one of my favorite things, which is the Success Coach. It allows me, without the bias of where do I want to look, where do I not want to look at, my own personal blocks, whether that's personal relationships, family relationships, my goals, potentials, career, finances, things like that. I can actually have an intentional focus and then run a scan, and just purely based on my vibration, it will come up with an analysis and show me where my blocks are. It's really incredibly powerful. And then you've also got the aura scan, the skin programs, which are amazing, learning, which is like concentration and exams, and memory programs, deep cycle H, which is a full real detox, deep cycle, you know cleansing of the body. And then lastly, if you want all of the above, you can get the professional, and that brings in the bioenergetic vitalization, which is working on stem cell frequencies, digital nutrition, which is a whole nother world of bringing vibration into how our cells are working and how our cellular function of the digestion of nutrients is working. The beauty programs, job programs, which I'm a huge fan on, and the bioenergetic defense, which again, I use all of these programs so often if you have the capacity, highly recommend to go straight into the professional with the discount, and you would get the free bonus gold right now. But there is something for anyone to be able to step into, even if it's just $150 and then $90 a fortnight, just to start playing with how this stuff can support you. All right. And that brings us to the end of the presentation, and I'd just like to open, just in case anyone had any questions, that space is available now. Otherwise, we'll close off the recording, and I'll give thanks to everyone who's showed up. Great. All right, everyone. Thank you, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye bye.
Thanks,